What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
Happy holidays, everybody. It's Dynasty Points. It's Tuesday night. We still got a show tonight. I still don't know what that is. I've seen nothing but DMs and messages about Festivus for the rest of us. No idea what it is.
I think we're going to start with airing your biggest grievance.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay. We are going to air.
There's several things on Festivus you do. There's feats of strength. There's the airing of grievances. I'm not sure what else. Those are the two main ones that I'm aware of, but I think there's other things.
I like this already. This is going to work for me.
Yeah.
We're going to do that today. We're talking about our heartbreaks from this last week because, boy, there were many. We have Jacob making his first ever Best Ball Mania finals. We're not going to.
That's not true.
Oh, is it not
second.
your first? It's your second. It's your second. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was your first. I apologize. I'm a professional. I had that information on hand. We are going to talk about our 2025 final thoughts. Obviously, we're going to talk more about the season that was, but just some more kind of quick final thoughts on this. Some stuff that we're not really going to address moving forward. We're going to talk about our Christmas wishes for this week and what we need in week 17 to bring home some of that sweet, sweet cash. But I think to Jacob's point, we should start with Festivus, this airing of grievances. Also, no Lucas this week. He actually has things that he has to do, responsibilities. You can all boo him as it was. But we do have Ryan Heath, Jacob, with yours truly here. I'm putting an end to the early GGs in all of my leagues. This is not a rule change that is going to be voted on. This is permanent. This is not going to be a democracy choice. All right. I'm putting this hammer down. No pause. Okay. If you early GG someone, you lose. That is a verbal, that is a written contractual loss. You cannot revoke it. If you hit somebody on Thursday Night Football because the other guy had someone that even the 46 pointers are bad, but someone scores like 21 and they're like, GG's, I just don't have it because the sleeper projections have you down. This week I went in to 11 semifinals. I was heavily projected as the favorite in almost all of them. I believe I was projected at like 65 to 70% in all but 3. Even going into last night, I was heavily projected 60%, 70% win, and I lost. I got Brock Purdy, I got George Kittle, I got Chase Brown, I got Chris Olave in every league that I was in. And I'm going to 4 finals. Which, hey, I'm not going to complain. 4 finals, whatever. Yes, I'm not your average Twitter analyst telling you that in their 97 leagues, they made the finals in 92 and had a first-round bye in 78 of them. Sure, but 4 finals, I'm proud of that. Hell yeah. To see someone early GG's me on, like, Thursday, it just sends rage through my body. And then you get another early GG's, good game, it's over for me. Right? Every day of games and then every slate of games. There are those people out there. Maddie, I'm talking to you. You've been muted in the podcast in the Friday Night League. I've had to mute you because of the GGs. Tom Lee, I know you're listening. You're one of them too. From now on, if you early GGs somebody in the league, you are forfeiting. That is a forfeit. It's over. That's it. I want it out of the game. I know Buck tweeted about it the other day, and I got to thinking about it, and I'm done. No, it's just such a frustrating thing in the league. I'm out. I don't know if you guys care about it that much, but for me, I'm done now. I'm out.
I think it's hilarious, personally. Especially with how upset it makes Tom. So making mental notes for next year, any matchups that we're in together in the playoffs. We'll make sure I fire off that premature GG.
But it's a loss, though.
Yeah, after I check the league bylaws, I will fire it off.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with Tom. I think it's horseshit. It is like all you're doing is you're just. It's like this. It's like a bloodletting. You've been tilting about this shitty team that's been losing all week, and then you just decide like, oh, it'll make me feel better if I just say GG. And then it's like in my mind, I don't have to worry about it anymore. But like, oh, really? GG? Oh, good. You'll be taking Puka to your lineup then on Monday night. You're not. You're leaving him in your lineup. Oh, how about you go fuck yourself? That's kind of how I feel about it. So I'm 100% with Tom. It is ridiculous. You're trying to stab the voodoo doll with my team in it, try to pull off mental mayhem. It's mean, it's rude. I don't respect it, and I agree. If you premature forfeit your entire right to victory, I couldn't be with you more.
I just think that to me, it's not doing it to like get the emotional toll off of myself. I'm doing it because I know I'm living rent fucking free in the person's head that I'm early GGing. And to be clear, I haven't even done it this year, but it's something that's a little bit fun. Or if I feel like, oh man, I'm really down, like I could use a little bit of good luck, a little bit of karma on my side, getting the other manager's head a little bit. Like I think it's a genuine tool that you can deploy. I will defend the early GG. How is it any different than trash talking about like which player the other person's starting to try to get in their head? Like all of these are tools at our disposal to try to win more dynasty leagues, and I would never shame anybody for using them.
So are you telling me that you sit there, right, and you tell your guys, you have your roster, you have your lineup, and you're like, you know what we got to do to win, boys? We really got to get in the minds. Are you sending these messages to the NFL players in the locker room to help you like provide a better opportunity for winning? That's one of the most insane statements I've ever heard.
I mean, no, you don't like you don't try to reach out and touch the players or their lives or anything.
That's what I mean.
That.
So
That's
when you're saying that you're like giving them an advantage, right? You know, you got to get some confidence back. Karma's going to go your way with an early. Who is affected by this other than just irritating the rest of your league? I do not understand. It is a insane thing to do to somebody.
Why is it a bad thing to irritate my league mate who I'm going up against in the playoffs? Like I don't see what the downside is of this. Like it's no different than any other sort of trash talk. Like do we all have to always be super nice and complimentary of each
the
other?
opposite. It's the opposite. The GG is I love trash talk. I don't know if my mic's any better, by the way. I tried to readjust. I brought it closer. Okay. If you like text me during Sunday and you're like, screw you, your team sucks, it smells, I'm gonna come back, you dumb asshole. That I'm fine with that. I have no problem with trash talk. What you're actually doing is trying to make a jinx deal with the football gods.
That's what it is.
You're dressing it up as being nice and conciliatory, and it's not. And we know what you're doing. And so you're acting like you're a good sport, but you're actually a malevolent, evil presence.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. Thanks for explaining the joke. This is why I do it. Maybe I'm just a messed up internet troll, but that is exactly why I think it's awesome.
I think that you are a purveyor of evil, and your shenanigans stop now. And I see the chat. The chat is like, oh, Tom, you're going to get 3 times as many GGs. That's not possible, because in every league that I'm in, there's either Tom Lee, there's Maddie, there's DeBaradox. There's one of the worst early GG offenders in every single league that I am in. And I just want them all to know that it's going into all bylaws as an automatic loss. That's it. I've had it. So there's even an example. So like last night, that insane Colts game where Phillip Rivers is proving that there's just no quarterback development anymore in the NFL, to a huge degree. Watching him like actually play quarterback would just
he's like the 14th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like just immediately right off the couch.
That was insane. But like There was a game I was projected to win in a league that has no name, a league Jacob and I are both in. I'm playing our guy, Curtis Todd. Very good fantasy player. I've been in the first place like all season, and my team's upside just goes out the window, Taylor, whatever. So I was just like, well played. This dude's got Purdy. Like, I didn't early GGs. I was like, this is an insane run out, is all I said. Like, insane run out. Now I need some help. That's not an early GGs. That's just a statement of how crazy that was. That's not early. I didn't be like, oh, I've lost. All hope is out. Like, it's over. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about.
You know what else I'm dealing with? This is related to my hatred of no trade deadline leagues, but I'm currently experiencing blackmail. I have people in my DMs in a no deadline league being like, "Hi, I'm about to trade Christian McCaffrey to your opponent. Do you have anything to say about that?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just so funny. I actually respect that. I don't negotiate with terrorists, so I won't be sending a trade offer. But it's an incredible bit.
That's that's different to me. That I'm all for, right? That's within the realms. Like that's legitimate strategy you're messing with.
That's actually in. I bet he's listening because that's in our full total Psycho League, the no trade deadline league that we have, which I made the finals of. We have Maxim trying to play me and my opponent off each other. I do wonder. I don't know who I play in the finals this week, but whoever I play in the finals, I wonder if he's currently being told that Christian McCaffrey is being traded to me. If that's the case, don't worry about it, buddy. Hold strong. We can do this. It's the prisoner's dilemma.
That's right. And I want.
Confess. Don't confess.
I want everybody that suffered like a really heartbreaking loss this week to leave a comment and let us know what that is. Like, for example, our friend Kieran went into that league as the number one seed all year. I believe he scored the most points in the league. You put up 79 in the semifinals. Hey David scored 215.
Hey David, that's the other guy. That's the guy I'm playing in the finals. Stay strong, Hey David. Do not talk to cops. Don't do it.
Just some heartbreaking losses. I'm telling you, I think every league I played in, I was in against some combination of like Stafford, Puka, Olave, Shuck. Like, it was just like the ultimate get owned hater. Like Chase Brown nuked me a couple of. It was just insane.
Dude, the Chase Brown. So I did very fortunately make the BBM final. Praise God.
We will transition.
But it was looking dire for a moment, and it was like the second half of the early window was the really rough period in which a team that somehow didn't have Puka Nacua was like just burying me alive. And the Chase Brown half specifically, because I had Achan on my team, did not have Chase Brown, and it went from like Achan has a great first half. He has like a 30-yard reception called back for OPI on like the first drive of the second half. And basically from that point forward, it felt like it was like within a 45-minute span, Chase Brown scored like 3 touchdowns. Like it went from like Chase Brown doing nothing to everything. And then the Chris Olave touchdown from Taysom Hill for no reason with like a minute and a half left in the game that they were leading by 16 was like the single most tilting play I'd ever experienced. Like I was like, for what is this? Like, why is there 11 more Chris Olave points right now? What is this bullshit? So that was infuriating. It was especially trolly in that I probably have like 24% Chris Olave in that fucking tournament, but not on this team. But yeah, shout out to Chris Olave and Chase Brown, and a special shout out to Trevor Lawrence and Jalen Warren, 2 of my OGs for powering me into a chance at $2 million next week.
Dude, the amount of Chase Brown and Puka Nacua and Jalen Warren that I drafted this year across like every format that did not make it to week 16. That was my biggest heartbreak. I feel like all of my guys went off in week 16. I'm watching every team just completely nuke that got eliminated last week. It's horrible. Yeah. I'm sick. I'm in 2 dynasty championships, which is a little below average for me, but yeah, very, very rough, very, very tilted about all of those players.
I'm in a lot of Dynasty Championships, but I'm in a lot of Dynasty Leagues. So you sort of have to view those things in connection with one another. So, saying I'm in 15 Dynasty Championships sounds more impressive than it is when you consider that I'm in like 60 leagues. But
that's what I'm so tilted about. I'm going to 4 and I'm in 48 non-co-commissioned Dynasty leagues. Like this semifinal week was my worst. I've said this a couple times. I tweeted about it. I've said it in like the company Discord. I even said it in the Dynasty Points Dynasty side of the Discord, where I was just like, man, this is my worst run out that I've ever experienced in fantasy football. Granted, I've played Dynasty only since 2019. Home League was our first ever. This is the worst run out I think I've ever experienced in a semifinal week. Like, it just is, but that's the game, right? You have all these guys like Taylor, right, killing it all year, and then it gets to Javonte Williams, like all these guys just absolutely killing it, and you get uprooted by all of a sudden Kyle Pitts is just rookie year Brock Bowers for no reason. It's just like, okay, well, that's super fun and awesome. Great. Oh, Jacoby Brissett and Tyler Shuck, by the way. Yeah. Thanks. Phillip Rivers outscoring Joe Burrow last week. That's phenomenal. Like, this is what we needed in 2025. It's disgusting. So that's the heartbreak. That's some Best Ball Mania finals talk from Jago. I hope you take it down.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dead to first, although I'm looking into how to get accredited as an independent neurologist. Because if I could get a very lightly owned Trevion Henderson coming in off of the injury dud against the New York Jets, then I would feel substantially better about my chances. So if anyone has any quick links to becoming an independent neurologist within 6 days, I will board a flight to New England and say, Trevion, you are good to go. Because it'd be really nice to have him out there.
Don't forget the undisclosed injury that no one can identify. That is, every fake sport injury is completely fraudulent. If you didn't know.
I hope that guy's right. I hope it's fake. Then he'll be healthy this week. It'll be awesome. I've
seen some truly, and there's a quote tweet on my Twitter at @LNostradamus. Go down that rabbit hole if you want to have a very interesting evening. Ryan, if you have not seen it, you must. It is truly fantastic. But look, that's all we're going to do with that. Look, tonight, if you were looking for like hard-hitting Dynasty analysis and breakdowns, tonight is not your night. Tonight is our night, something we like to do if you're new here, and just have a good time. So let's continue to do that. Also, Jacob, if you take it down, I expect the Dynasty Points show to have an in-person studio somewhere that is completely fronted by you. We'll talk about that when it happens, when the big win hits. I'm sure we'll find a place, nice studio.
Yeah, we're all
that is very plausible. I'll tell you
every Tuesday.
Yeah, the in-person studio is possible. I'll tell you what I won't do, chat. I'm not putting $1 million into crypto. That's you don't want to take correct read, Pappuccino. That's Davis Maddock, who I like Jake very Tribby. Much, and I podcast with twice a week. But I would say I'm more on the Luddite spectrum, and I'm deeply leery of actors in the crypto and AI worlds. And I will be, I don't know, I'd probably buy something nice for my friends and family, put a lot of it into like a very boring savings fund. And I don't know, probably like go on a nice trip. I don't think I'm going to win because I have the wide receiver 4 on the Bucks on that team. So,
oof, that's cold. That's cold. I actually have a dynasty question I want to propose to you guys on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay, gentlemen, I have an actual dynasty related question because it was asked of me today and I actually didn't know which way to go. You have George Pickens, who's kind of a dipshit. I think we can all admit he's kind of a loose cannon.
Yeah, less of a dipshit.
That's true. For now. I mean, there was a time where George Pickens tried to like WWE fans. He tried. He just never got there. So, I mean, whatever. And then there's Rashee Rice, who we know is a certified dipshit at 100 miles an hour even. I got asked in a deal, someone that we know, if I would trade George Pickens in a 2 for a Rashee Rice and Jake Ferguson. And it was like, I couldn't decide because we had that long conversation about Rashee Rice and not wanting to rank him in the top 10. And I was like, Rice and Pickens are like back to back for me pretty much in Dynasty, like kind of like a 13, 14, 14, 15 type area to me. And I didn't accept it. I wanted to because I really needed a tight end, but I was like, are we going to have to start like ranking wide receivers by the likelihood that they do something stupid in the offseason? Because it was 100% based on I don't want to roster Rashee Rice through the offseason.
I mean, I'm less concerned about that, although I am concerned about that. But the way that this end of season went is not awesome for the Rashee Rice dynasty case. Like, I mean, I think we've all known that he is a better fantasy asset than a real life asset, but he was just straight up pretty harmful, I thought, over the last month of the season to the Chiefs playoff odds. Like, he's good at what he's good at, but like teams started to figure out what the plan was. It's 3rd and short. They're doing a drag route to Rashee Rice, and they just had a linebacker waiting there to light him up repeatedly. Got concussed on one of those plays. Was not making tough contested catches. Was not beating man coverage. It's a limited player. And I think if you're looking at where the Chiefs go with the early to mid first, I would probably spend it on a wide receiver. But I'm interested to see what happens there, because I don't think that I know that they have spent up at the position. It used to be they didn't invest at the position. They have invested. I just don't think they have a really meaningful hit at the position right now. I think they have a very good role player in Rice. Not really sure exactly what Worthy is. Like a little better than a bust, but I wouldn't make him a focal point. And, you know, they're going to be losing Kelsey.
I mean, you're losing Kelsey, but that's just like more of kind of the BS targets for Rice.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't know
if they add like a legitimate X receiver that just makes their offense work better, that to me is almost not necessarily a negative for Rice, right? So I don't know, but to Tom's original question, I think with Rice, the concern is because of his, like, the terms of his probation. If he does anything, he's like going to jail, right? Pickens can mess up and get suspended, and that would suck, but not necessarily like he's going to jail if he does something moderately stupid.
So I think that's the point that is the most surprising to me, is that when I was actually proposing this question, because up until 4, 5, 6 weeks, I would have been like, absolutely. Like, that's the value. The value is there. It's a 0.75 tight end premium league. Jake Ferguson's definitely worth that too in that spot. But then I was like, I think like I said, 5, 6 weeks ago, I'm just accepting that and calling that good value. But now that value sounds good, but it's not good for me right now. And I think when we get into draft and startup season, I think we might have to do a little bit more of a deep dive of like almost reassessing what a risky dynasty asset is. Because remember, it used to be the 24, 25-year-old wide receivers, not risky. But between rule changes and how the wide receiver position and the points have kind of dispersed, I think we might have to actually, as part of our dynasty process, almost reshape what that means to us. Does that make sense? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially with the rule changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is like a new risk to like the quote unquote nesting doll or stable wide receiver, which is just in any given year that receiver could like not score any points like at all, right? Like a Josh Downs might be a decent example of this, where until a couple weeks ago when the Colts decided they can play 11 personnel again with Phillip Rivers, he just wasn't on the field. Like, he wasn't playing. Like that, if you're looking at risk, that's not, at least in the short term, yeah, a lot of these teams can just be non-viable passing offenses in terms of fantasy production in any given year. So Yeah, is that like going to destroy Josh Downs' dynasty value forever? I'm not sure, but it'll be a interesting. I think there's a conversation there we could have.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the rule changes for the weeks now, and I'm just not smart enough to quantify how I feel about it. But we're definitely going to take the time in the off season, and we're going to work our way through it. Also, see the super chats. We love and appreciate you guys. We are going to get to those without a doubt. Let's talk about some of our. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to hit them now because after this, we are going to hit our final 2025 thoughts. Post the last week of the game itself and get out of here for the holidays. So let's hit we got some weekly questions, which let me tell you, I'm not the one to ask because I just use our projections. That's why I'm last in this game. Our weekly picks game. It's not for me, but we're going to do our best here. Samurai here in a 0.5 tight end premium, Warren, Hill, Parkinson, and Tonjes. Did
the old start sit season? Kill's probably out. Yeah, he had it's the lowest ankle sprain actually anyone's ever seen. It's so low. It's a subterranean ankle sprain, but sounds pretty unlikely he plays. Assuming that Rivers starts, I would go with Warren. The Colts are technically not eliminated yet, but they would be if Houston won on Saturday. I'm assuming that game comes so close to the Colts game that they will just have Rivers start this one regardless. But there isn't really any reason in the world to start a 45-year-old Phillip Rivers over Riley Leonard if they've been eliminated. And I wouldn't want to start Tyler Warren with Riley Leonard, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's Warren if it's Rivers, which I kind of assume it will be. It gets a little tougher. I think I would go Tonjes in that scenario. His usage wasn't horrible when Kittle was out earlier in the season.
He was fine. I should mention Taysom Hill. I don't think that he has like a new role. The Saints are so weird. They think he's cool and awesome, and that was probably his last home game, so they wanted to do like a big send off for him.
Yeah, thanks.
I think he'll be back to having a more limited role this week.
We got one more from Samurai here. 0.5. We need to pick 2. Swift, my guy, Manungai, Jetta, Rico, Corm, Sanson, and Johar. How about that big run? How about that big run this week by a Texans running back? I looked and I was like, oh, that's got to be Jacob's guy, Johar. And I looked and I was like, oh, no, that's Nick Chubb somehow getting downfield.
Hey, Johar got 12 PPR points, baby. He got me 12 PPR points. Good enough.
Go ahead.
Man, can you imagine? Look at this. Imagine telling us someone would be paying us $5 to answer, would you rather start Jawar Jordan or Justin Jefferson in the fantasy finals? I mean, that is sad.
5, baby.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of who.
So I think Swift is clearly my first selection here. And then it's a little tougher between the rest of them. And also a lot of these are a little bit contingent on injuries. So if Dylan Sampson plays and like gets a full practice in and we don't hear anything about limitations, I think he would actually be my pick here. The Browns gave him a pretty sizable workload. They like him in the passing game. They throw all these screens every single game. He's an explosive player. Like he's who I would go with if we knew he was going to be like fully healthy and not limited.
Great.
If not, it might be Manungai, which is weird to say to start Swift and Manungai. Jefferson like doesn't get that close for me, which is really sad. But
I think
that's my answer.
I think I would do Swift and Rico. And then if I know the matchup sucks, but just the role's really good as tie touchdown equity. And then but I agree with Ryan that if Samson is good and the coach speak on him is positive for him being ready this week, then I think he becomes a fun start.
Yeah, I'm surprised no interest in Corum, who's just been like a solid 12 to 16 against the Falcons.
He just gets no pass game work. And like it's the thing where for basically it felt like it was like 2 months of every week on the waiver wire show, Hayden and I yelling into the void of how Corum like projected basically the same as all these other timeshare guys, and he had this 40 to 45% carry roll, but he just ran really poorly on touchdowns. And then this now, like the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's run like really hot on touchdowns. His role isn't that different. Like it's way different than it was last year, way different than it was at the very beginning of the season. But it's not like he. I think the reaction in the community is that he went from like a 20% of the touches to 50% of the touches. He's been getting 40 to 45% of the touches next to Kyren Williams. Line back. He just happens to have scored a lot of touchdowns very recently. He's still less likely to score than Kyren Williams. It's just that the attitude until a few weeks ago was like he could never score a touchdown. That was never the case. He can, but the floor is pretty low. He doesn't get any pass work.
Fair. I think that's fair. Big Diaz said, GG, Tom, you never sent a congrats pizza to your opponent before the matchup? No, I've never sent, mostly because like I only know where 1 of 2 of my opponents live, really, honestly, and they're in the home league. And instead, I just mock them relentlessly when I can in person because that's more fun to me. So no, I definitely don't do that. And Jerome says Dynasty Points is the best show. Getting choked up here. Best show ever. Thanks for the advice. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's talk about some of the stuff we learned, or some of our, not what we learned, but more of our final thoughts here in 2025. There's one that stands out to me that had a couple people on this program rolling their eyes at me at the start of the season. And is that when I said come week 14, 15, and 16, you're going to be begging for 8 to 12 points in your lineup like we are every year. And once again, this year was no different. I feel like this is the year of the fat, old, slow, unathletic, and not very exciting running back, which is generally good for players like myself. But one final thought is the more we start adding more games, more middle of the week, more international, and this insane corporate-driven, money-hungry, soulless succubus of a league continues to expand, the more I think these 10 to 12-point players in like week 15 are going to continue to matter. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not happy about it. But 2025 has really showed that like we're playing Phillip Rivers and I lost to a team that started Phillip Rivers. Like in 2025, he came off his couch and someone had to start him. It just never more has that statement of like, come this time of year, you're going to want 12 points like Juar, been more prevalent in my opinion than in 2025. That's a big thought for me. Jacob, what do you have?
Yeah, I think it's less of a reflection on this year, but just a commitment for going forward, which is just I think the thing that I struggle with most since being like an analyst as opposed to just being a player is you have all these public facing takes on all these players that accumulate over years and years. And it's kind of impossible to not get attached to certain players positively or negatively. And, you know, when a player that you really like, if their price rises or for whatever reason you're not as into them, it's hard to not stay in on them if they've been successful. It's hard to get in on guys that you faded, especially if it's been successful. I think what I'm going to try and do over the next 2 months, one, not do a lot of fantasy content once this season ends, as I usually do, but also just really attempt the best I can to wipe my slate clean on every single player. Not like I'm forgetting, you know, what I think about them or how I've evaluated them, but to like try to wipe that attachment to any particular take so that I can come into next season with just like a fresh view of each player relative to their cost. I think going back on this season, some of the players that were big hits for me were like actually players that I had very much switched my opinion on relative to costs. The cost changed, like a George Pickens. But then similarly, I think of like other players where it's like, you know, why was I not more in on taking this bet or sort of rigid about this take because it's like the way that I've always played or the way I've always viewed things. So I think it's similar to like what Ryan I think is about to say. Based on schemes, based on the ADPs, based on whatever else, very fluid game, and I'm just excited to sort of have the confidence, I hope, in my subscribers and listeners that they'll understand that it's not like I'm flipping everything that I believe in, but trying to take the job seriously of forming a new view on every player basically coming into 2026.
I like that. I've tried to, for years, have this like, I won't say I don't have any player takes, but over the years I've tried to almost create this, like, I have so few, I don't care about real football. I care about what I see in market changes. I care about, what fantasy points are they providing. And it's been successful, right? Like I've been buying the Jonathan Taylors, the Josh Jacobs, the Kyron Williams for years when they're kind of looked down. The Parker Washingtons are like players that I'm going and sending thirds for. And yeah, they help some, like it just kind of helps in that regard. But there are a few that I think I should have been a little bit more obviously in on. Like earlier in the season, I said, I'm not sure if Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback in Jacksonville. I'm not sure. He's not their guy, and it's not going well. At the time, it wasn't. But I did say, I just want whoever Cohen's quarterback is. And that turns out to be a thing. It looks like a thing right now. And hopefully, it comes back. And we also talked about how I think his ADP is going to come back up. Like if there was a quarterback that had the opportunity like Herbert last year was in that 3-4 turn, I said he's going to be a second round startup pick next season. And he was. And so now we're looking at the same thing with Lawrence. I should have been more in on that than I was. So I think, like you said, Jacob, I think it's about a little more confidence in that approach, and things like that in 2026, I think are going to be pretty big.
One opinion I'll never change is Trevor Lawrence, because I've been right the entire time.
Well, I mean, no, but sure. Ryan, you can go ahead. I'm just saying you owe a lot.
I see that you and Scott have now retreated to the. Actually, we were right the whole time, but he's now
bad for 70 games. He's a system. So
it's about 70 games off. It's about 70 games off.
So that thing that Brock Purdy gets mocked for being a system quarterback, you can now enjoy Trevor Lawrence getting mocked for the same thing. System.
Yeah, I will enjoy that actually. Yeah, I'll actually tell you this. You know what right, not right, whatever. I'm actually trying to think. Do I enjoy constantly being stuck in this annoying environment of balls going off people's hands and being told he's terrible and him playing bad? Or do I enjoy him playing at an MVP level and people saying he's a system quarterback? No, I like door number 2, actually. I'd like him to remain a system quarterback. That works for me.
Yeah, I am at least glad that Brock Purdy also decided to throw 5 touchdowns as soon as the Trevor Lawrence breakout happened. Like that has softened the blow for me a little bit when it comes to long-held quarterback takes. But whatever unconditional surrender to Jacob he desires is what he gets.
My strongest between Lawrence, it's always for me, I think it's because of the Liam Cohen effect, and it's also just because I have I just find him corny and annoying and I don't like his fans. So it's always, and it's also because of the Theo Ash video. But the Lawrence Baker evolution over the last 10 weeks has been fascinating.
The Baker stuff makes me insane. Yeah. Baker Mayfield gets idolized, and on this program we have gotten comments, nasty, mean, angry, rude to say the least, very non-Canadian. I'll put it to you that actually that's not true. A lot of us are dicks as well, but about how we don't want to draft him in the 6th round. And it created an uproar all last season. And they come out guns blazing, absolutely on fire. And it's comment after comment after comment. And then he absolutely falls off. And the argument is, well, his shoulder is hurt. Yes, his left non-throwing shoulder is injured again. This is the same thing in Cleveland when he turned the ball over more than any other quarterback in the league. His left shoulder was the one that was hurt. He's just played poorly. It's not even some maybe you can blame on the, again, non-throwing shoulder being injured, but he's just done the things that, how do I put this correctly? He has not done the things that can help his team win. Like it's been terrible, but he does like some funky run and everyone goes, oh, Baker. He has a nice press conference. Oh, Baker. And we forget. I don't know. I think at some point they're just truth of Baker Mayfield just have to be told. I think at some point. Maybe.
I mean, I will always be a Baker Mayfield apologist in terms of like I'm a fan of the guy. I didn't think that his price, particularly in redraft, made any sense this past offseason. I had some dynasty shares. That's whatever. We draft quarterbacks in dynasty at ridiculous spots all the time. But
yeah,
for my final, yeah,
he's been a top 12 quarterback this year in most league formats, sure, but like I just don't understand the last 2 years did wonders for his.
To me, he just gets better PR than all of the other quarterbacks who are somewhere between quarterback 8 and 20. Like there's just a void of Baker Mayfield haters that I feel the need to step into as a person who finds his personality deeply unlikable, unlike everyone else who finds it extremely likable.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, everybody was with you, I feel like, when he was coming into the league. Like he I guess his like
I actually kind of liked him then. I feel like I turned. I feel like I've never been on the same page. Like when he was like early career Cleveland Baker, I actually found it charming, and now I just find him corny. There's like something about like a 22-year-old kid who's like kind of a cocky asshole that I enjoy, but like being like a 32-year-old like that, I just find corny. Now I think it's a bit. Anyways, to
be fair, he's 30.
Not relevant.
To be fair, he's 30. He's 30. He's not 32. But I think you're right. They got one more year of Baker too, and after that, it's like, do you lock up Baker for like another 4 years? I think
they should have promoted Cohen and fired Bowles. That's what they should have.
Yes.
Oh no,
which we all said at the time, by the way.
Yeah.
Good on all of us for saying that. Twitter nerds were right again on that one.
For years, I've been praying that Baltimore would fire Harbaugh and hire one of these Canales. We had two opportunities. Canales, he would have come to Baltimore for sure. Cohen would have come to Baltimore for sure. No, we get Harbaugh, who forgets what the time is left in the game and forgets that they
drive-by-drive rotation. You can't change the drive-by-drive rotation.
Yeah,
it's preset in his Madden. You can't change it. He'd already hit sim to next quarter. It's still the most liked tweet that I've actually ever had on this site. It was in the Super Bowl when it was like 4th and 1, and for whatever reason, Samaje Perine was on the field instead of Joe Mixon. And my tweet was just Zach Taylor coaches like he set Samaje Perine as his third down running back in Madden and doesn't know how to change the settings. And that is like very much how Harbaugh acted in his explanation about Derrick Henry's usage.
And I hate that, like, so in the company Discord at Fantasy Points, I was like, I put in quotes and I like tried to predict what Harbaugh was going to say in his press conference the next day. And I was only off by like 4 buzzwords or 3 buzzwords. Like, I hate this franchise. Please fire him. 18 games where they've coughed up a 10-point lead or more. Stop. Make it stop. Make the pain go away.
We've tortured Ryan long enough. Let's let him have
should I do my thoughts?
You get to participate in this program.
All right. I mean, I'm
as
guilty
I was
too.
saying,
yeah, exactly. I'm guilty too. I've been indulging in all these side conversations too. It's a lot of fun, guys. But yeah, so I had a few things that I'm taking away from this season. The first one I'd say is if you are the type of content consumer, fantasy player, whatever, that stays like very plugged in throughout the year, which I imagine that's a lot of the listeners. This is a dynasty show. Every year people kind of create these conclusions at the end of the season, which is what we're doing right now. Like, what did we learn? What are we remembering? What am I never doing again? What am I definitely doing again? I would just like caution that it's very, very tempting to create all of the perfect rules that would have let you get everything right this year, every single year. Guess what? Outcomes change, the perfect rules, quote unquote, change. You don't want to totally overfit like all of your takes to what happened last year. Very tempting, very easy to do without realizing it. And I say this as someone that is probably a little bit guilty of that, especially when I write like my What I Learned article every February. So that's like something I'm really thinking about making sure I don't do this year. So make sure you don't do that with yourself. And I think the most common way that happens is what I would dub like a thought terminating cliche. So like a rule that in your head would have gotten you to all the good outcomes this year, but when actually applied, it wouldn't even necessarily have if you like look at all of the possible outcomes. So for example, bet on talent is like a thing that people say constantly. I don't think it's even wrong. I think you do want good football players on your fantasy team. That's not a hot take. But to say bet on talent and not understand that very often the talented football players are not going to score a lot of fantasy points. Breece Hall would be a good example. Bet on talent didn't work for Breece Hall this year. I've even seen people saying that Travis Etienne was a bet on talent guy. And the funny part about that is I was on Bashal too, and because I thought I was betting on talent there, right? It's like, it's not always clear. I think very often we kind of put these cliches like over our thought processes, and it just like papers over what's actually going on. Like always look deeper. How do I know this guy is talented? Why do I think he's talented? How and why would this talent translate to fantasy points? Injury prone is the other one. We talk about this one all the time, but like injury prone is a thing in that there are players more likely to suffer injuries than others. But if you're avoiding a player because they're injury prone, you are potentially just voiding yourself out of the highest upside players of any given fantasy season. Devon Achane was injury prone because I don't even remember what it was. He had like a calf strain in the preseason, like a couple weeks leading up to the year. People were taking Achane off their draft boards because of this. Matt Stafford, we all remember the chamber. Stafford, his wide receivers, people didn't want to draft him for those reasons. And Christian McCaffrey, of course, is the classic. Yes, of course, if you're clicking McCaffrey in round one, there is a decent chance that your team is just immediately dead, but there's also a very high chance he's one of the highest scoring players in fantasy in any given season. Like you can't build a strategy in most formats, I'd say, any formats where upside matters, which is every format, or just entirely around like avoiding these injury prone players. And then the last like lesson I'm taking forward is more of a process thing for myself. So I talked ad nauseum about the importance of scheme and play callers and who the smart OCs and head coaches are and how you want the players on those teams. And that was generally correct this year, right? Like we got this amazing explosion from the Seahawks offense, Jackson Smith and Jigba adding to his dynasty value, being one of the players that mattered this year. We have Trevor Lawrence reviving his career under Liam Cohen. We've got even Jonathan Taylor going completely insane as soon as Shane Steichen has any like semblance of an actual quarterback that he can call a game around. All of this matters. It's very important. But before the fact, we can't always tell which players it's going to matter for. I was super in on Ken Walker because of Clint Kubiak, right? I was super in on Brian Thomas Jr. because of Liam Cohen. I think having more of like an open mind to which players these like macro trends affect is going to be really important for me next year. Like, yeah, it could be the gross, dusty Travis Etienne that is actually going to score a ton of fantasy points because of a smart play caller. It's not necessarily like going to perfectly line up with the player archetypes and the types of bets that I normally like to make. It can totally be anybody on the roster. So that, I want to be less micro focused in that like macro analysis of an entire team's efficiency.
I really like that last one specifically. It's actually one of the reasons Buck and I ended up in on someone like Etienne. It's like, yeah, we have this coach. We know this coach is good with running backs. Well, who's going to be the cheapest one right now? And Etienne was the most acquirable guy to place your bet on. So like I get the appeal. Also, shout out Jacoby Myers, man. That guy, boy. Patriots, if only they had a guy like him on their roster for the last few seasons. My God.
Dude, the fact that
we've ever broken news
go
24 hours earlier, by the way, on this program. It was like we out of nowhere we talked about the Jaguars re-signing Jacoby Myers, and then like 24 hours later it happened completely out of the blue. That's the most prescient segment we've ever had on this program.
That's right. We should be the news forecasters at this point, but
I don't know. The Patriots and their wide receiver choices. Yeah, everything's going well for you guys, but obviously that was still a bit of an L.
What do you think?
I can't even remember. Did we sign Juju Smith-Schuster to the same money as Jacoby Myers? I believe it was Juju that year that we decided to let Myers go for. Yeah. Oh my God, kill me. Actually, kill me. It's so hard being a Patriots fan.
Oh, shut up. So just a couple of things. I like the injury prone stuff. That's something that I use with running backs a lot. It's like, oh, he's an injury prone running back. No, he's just a running back that plays in the NFL who will one day eventually get hurt. Right? Like that's just how I view the running back position. Right. It's expected for me like that they're going to get injured, they're going to get banged up. It's just how the position is to me. Shout out Quinshon, man. Like that was
horrible. Seems like he's avoided the worst, at least. Like,
well, so I was going to ask about.
When I first saw it, I was like, "We're done for 26," but sounds like maybe him and Scatterbo might both be fine for week 1.
Here's my thing: is he had ankle surgery, and then there was no details on why. I could not see what in the ankle. Was this like a tightrope? Was this the Godwin?
Fractured fibula. So it's going to be it was fractured fibula and dislocated ankle, right?
So that's what I was wondering if this is like
injury.
Yeah, so like I just couldn't find, and I'm not a doctor.
Was the knee ligament? Were the knee ligaments intact though? I thought there was a question.
That's the stunning part is they said that there's no structural damage to the knee.
Wow.
So
I mean, if we've seen players with hyper serious fibula and ankle dislocations and fractures recently, the year-end +1 results are awful. Like looking at Godwin this year, Mark Andrews a couple of years ago, Tony Pollard a couple of years ago. So it's not good. But I would say like if you have Judkins right now, my advice would be that the news on return to play is much better than anticipated. But the issue with that injury is really more about return to performance. So I would just hold on for now. I wouldn't necessarily go out on a buying spree, but then next summer when they're like, he's cleared for camp, see what the price is. Cause there's definitely like, I think the market will react like he's out of the woods at that point. But there's definitely some risk that, and this goes for Scatterbo as well, that they are both cleared for week 1. Everybody's really excited and they just don't look anything like the same player. I think that's probable.
We got asked if we would take Judkins or the 201. And I was like pretty strong on the Judkins side of that, but
I'd still take Judkins. I think to me, even if next year is rough, he showed enough, and he's so young, right? That's the other thing. Like Scatterbo's an older prospect, so if you kind of lose this year and next year he's a shell of himself, it's like now we're going into 2027 and he'll be 25. But like Judkins is a 21-year-old rookie, so you're getting a long recovery arc for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just ask you guys this then. What do you think early on is going to be the most over talked about story in Dynasty? Because I've got 2. Anything is the most
like early in the offseason?
Yeah.
Let's see. Who's technically a free agent but is totally getting tagged or re-signed?
Pickens. Etienne is one of those. Pickens is one of those. I think Pitts, Hall, honestly, but maybe he'll escape.
Pitts?
I'm not sure what happens with Pitts.
I think they're bringing him back. They seem to be really happy.
But who's bringing him back? Like, are they even bringing back the coach and the GM?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
true.
He's going to be talking. He's going to be talked about a lot too. So I think you're right. Free agency and who gets tagged. I think those are some good ones.
That's always It's always fun to like do the very obvious like players who are gonna.
I've got two. Do you want to hear them?
Oh yeah, let's hear them.
Yeah.
AJ Brown's a Patriot.
Please.
That's gonna be the most. Even though that dead money is insane.
It's so insane, and he's been good lately. I think he's probably just going to be back on the Eagles now.
I think so too. That money is crazy.
They figured it out. Like he's been great the last one.
But that's going to be. So I'm gonna subdivide that. I'm gonna go Patriots and AJ Brown, and then any wide receiver with a pulse is a New England Patriot. I think we're back to that level of the offseason this year. And Brandon Ayuk on Washington are probably going to be the two most talked about. I think
unless he just never plays football again. I mean, like he's driving 110 miles an hour past the stadium and posting on Instagram. I mean,
well, if Rasheed can do it,
I would like my guy to just like, I would like my guy to contact BetterHelp immediately. It's concerning.
There's a rough breakup happening in San Francisco that is insane, and of course, there's going to be the Shedeur thing.
The Shedeur thing is going to be. There's never been and there will never be an enjoyable piece of Shedeur Sanders content on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the most frustrating conversation at all times. My goal is to participate in as little. My goal is to learn from the Justin Fields era by just trying to opt out of the Shedeur Sanders conversation this year. Another real one.
Never tweet.
Actually, this is a real one, and this is one that I actually do have strong opinions on, and I find very annoying. I'm not sure where you guys land. I can probably at least guess where Tom lands. And I think with me, and it's the if the Giants get the number 1 overall pick, are they going to replace Jackson Dart? And that's
that's ridiculous.
Is dominating my timeline. And I saw it in a few places because Nate Tice and Charles McDonald did a podcast, and they were like, yeah, they should go with Mendoza. And then there's been all sorts of other stuff. And anyway, I tweeted out quite firm. I would not do that. I think Dart, like, forget like the trade value. I just think Dart is straight up a better bet than any rookie in this class based on what he showed this year. I'm a fan of his. But I think that's going to be a conversation topic. It's going to be a thing that they talk about on leading sports shows. Maybe not, I guess, if they win these last 2 games. But if they lose to the Raiders this week and they have a top 2 pick and they have access to Mendoza or more, that will be the most annoying talking point for the next 3 months.
I think that goes right up there with is Cleveland going to draft a quarterback? I think that conversation is going to be right there because no matter what, you're going to get the no, they absolutely shouldn't. Why would they? And I think the city would riot, like riot if they brought a quarterback to Cleveland. So I'm wondering what.
Yeah, I mean, my view is that Cleveland should absolutely draft a quarterback.
Absolutely, 100%. But yeah,
do we think the Dart thing like starts to penetrate like dynasty circles? Like, am I going to get to draft Jackson Dart a round cheaper in startups because of this? Because if so, I'm going to end up with a lot of Jackson Dart this offseason.
I think it's going to penetrate. I mean, you don't have to go far to find people because the thing with Dart, like he had a lot of haters in the pre-draft process, and those haters have been pretty dormant, but they're coming back out in a big way now. And they have the chance to go with the Mendoza stuff. I mean, it's funny because my trepidation with him as a dynasty asset was exactly this, which was they probably have a new coach and GM, not a ton of investment. It's just it felt sketchy at the floor if he wasn't that good. But like I really liked him as a prospect, like way more than consensus. I wanted the Colts to draft him at 14. I still really wish we drafted him at 14. So I'm gonna be caping for Dart, I think, this offseason pretty hard. People. Oh, Papacino hit the actual most annoying conversation.
Deshaun Watson will return with vengeance in 2026. He's on the roster. That money.
That. He has the highest cap hit of any quarterback in the NFL in 2026 or something like that. It's very high. It's like top 5.
It's 96. It's 96 million this year, if I'm not mistaken, in dead money. if they let him go. Yeah, it's an insane. Definitely one of the worst.
Actually, this reminded me of another one. This is more real NFL focused, but I feel like this discourse might start up that it's actually really bad to pay franchise quarterbacks, which is a ridiculous conversation on its face because it's really bad to pay bad quarterbacks. Of course, nobody should be surprised by this. It is bad for the Dolphins and the Raiders and the Cardinals that Tua and Geno and Kyler have among the highest cap hits this year. It'll be bad for whoever has the highest ones next year if they're bad quarterbacks. Yes, it's bad to do these long-term deals for these completely mid quarterbacks instead of jumping into the abyss and cycling through rookies.
Have you considered that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are also mid?
Yeah, that's exactly what the second part of the conversation is, which is like, yeah, look, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow have among the highest cap hits and their teams didn't make the playoffs. It's like, yeah, the team that is paying a bunch of money to a star quarterback and that quarterback got hurt, missed a bunch of games, and played, in Lamar's case, played hurt for a bunch of games. Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to have an easy time making the playoffs, given what they're able to do with the rest of their rosters. But like the whole point is that you hope the star top 5 franchise quarterback stays healthy to help you get into the playoffs. So I don't know. Maybe that's going to become a discourse of we actually should just not be paying quarterbacks at all this offseason. I can see that one like stirring up around free agency. It might become like the hipster thing to say teams actually shouldn't sign quarterbacks at all, no matter who it is. But yeah, I forget who is like a free agent for QBs this year, who's like up for the big mega extension. So yeah,
no one good. Yeah, because this extension year. Oh God. Oh yeah, this extension. Oh, so Stroud and Bryce Young are going to be the extension candidates this year.
Oh, so they'll just be right.
It applies.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Right. It applies perfectly. Right. Yep. Okay. Never mind. I'm on the other side of this argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just say I think quarterbacks should get paid like 29-year-old first baseman do in baseball. 3 years. 3 years with a high AAV. Never go long term. Always keep it short. That's my opinion. That's how I think quarterbacks should get paid. Give them the what is it? Last year's Pete Alonso, right? Like a 3-year deal with the Mets with an opt out. Give him that. Give him that.
You've lost us.
I know. There's some of our listeners that are going to understand that, but it's basically you're just paying a high AAV at a short term so you have viability on the out. And what's the worst case that's going to happen? Oh no, you got to pay them more on the next time around. Okay, well if they deserve it, they deserve it. I just don't like long-term 6-year contracts at that high of an AAV. I think that's where I'm at now.
All right.
Period. Like,
let's.
It just is what it is. It's going to be an odd off season for quarterbacks, like you said. Just this Tua thing. I think the Tua thing is going to be talked a lot about. Probably too much. Too much about. The Justin Fields stuff is going to rear its ugly head again.
No, we're done.
I'm telling you.
I don't think Fields has a starting job in 2026.
I'm not talking about in that regard. I'm talking about the cultists. I'm talking about in the Dynasty community.
Those people are now all Shedeur Sanders fans. They've changed. They used to have the 1, and then they just added a 2. That's it.
Oh my god! I can't do another offseason of the Shedeur thing.
Oh my God. Scott Barrett wants to be a Shedeur Sanders stan so badly. He like can't do it. There's like
what? Why does he want to be a Shedeur Sanders stan?
Because it looks fun to him, basically. He's like, yeah, this actually looks hilarious.
So like I disagree with Scott on basically every quarterback that's ever played football. But like what does he like about Shedeur?
Oh, he doesn't like anything about Shedeur on the field or as a bet in fantasy or anything. So like he can't do it, but he like emotionally wants
it would be a really
it's like fun.
Role.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, I see.
So look out for that. If there's any like, yeah, he will be testing out these arguments at some point this offseason.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not a safe enough space for me to say what I want to say about that entire that entire cultist regime. But
he sent me the AFC Pro Bowl. He sent me the AFC Pro Bowl winners for quarterbacks, and he said SMH no Shador, they're racist. That was what he's like.
TikTok will say it.
He's testing out the content.
TikTok, that'll be and I'll find Cleveland Browns TikTok, or it'll find me again, and that'll definitely be in the comments section. But look, we already got people that we didn't expect in our DMs over the Shador stuff, so we're not gonna really get it.
We're not gonna get into that.
We're not getting into that. Let's go
last segment.
Let's talk about our Christmas wishes. What do we need this week? If Santa could bring you one fantasy Christmas present aside from $2 million, Jacob.
Yeah. Well,
aside from the obvious.
I'm looking. I mean, obviously all of my fantasy related Christmas wishes are entirely related to that basketball team. So my Christmas wish is pretty simple. My Christmas wish is that Trevion Henderson clears the concussion protocol. That is my Christmas wish.
I think that's a fair and fine Christmas wish. Ryan, what do you need Santa to bring you?
Okay, so my biggest thing I'm invested in for week 17 is I made the finals in my home Dynasty League. I have never won this league before. I have never heard the end of how I've never won this league before. The team's an absolute wagon. It's Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, CMC, Devon Achane, Trey McBride, disgusting team. I should 100% win, right? My opponent has Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, and I'm just staring at this thinking, how insane would it be if I get owned again by the dusty running backs that I was fading 2 years ago for being too old and saying that they're horrible dynasty picks and all of it. It would be so poetic if I ate shit one more time because of Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. So my Christmas wish is for that not to happen, for them to not completely go off and blow me off the map this week. But I am very scared it's going to happen.
That would be pretty peak cinema. What I need for Christmas is simple. I'm not gonna sit here for too long to wax poetic about it, but I have a theory. There have been conspiracy theory videos circulating Baltimore Ravens Twitter since the end of that debacle of a game about why some of the Ravens players were so happy at the end of that game. Notably, guys like Zay Flowers seen grinning ear to ear talking to Christian Gonzalez. Deep dives. And I think it is because the Baltimore Ravens are going to deliberately throw the next 2 games in order to provide me my Christmas gift of 2025, where we finally bid farewell to our guy, John Harbaugh. My Christmas wish.
Can I amend my Christmas wish? My Christmas wish is that if the Ravens fire John Harbaugh, it's that the Colts hire John Harbaugh.
You can have him. You will take Steichen. We will take Steichen with that offense.
I don't want the Colts to fire Steichen at all, for the record. I would trade up for Harbaugh.
Get Harbaugh. But, everyone says this because you do not see the things that we see. But when you want to know why a running back not named Jonathan Taylor is on the field at 7 yards per carry to grind out a win after you paid him to do so because he just couldn't beat the rotation. But for multiple times throughout the last 5 to 6 years, you can have Mr. Harbaugh, who's just out of touch.
I'm actually willing to accept that the Ravens should move on from Harbaugh that another team should hire him. I just think he's been there for how long now? It's been
18 years.
17 years, 18 years. That's just a long time.
He's out of touch. He's lost the room.
I think it is I think it can be totally reasonable that he is a good coach and will have success in a second stop, and that he probably 18 years is enough time with a head coach to probably try a different thing.
And someone's asking in the chat, who do I think I'd be rooting for to take over? I believe he is currently calling plays in Seattle. I think who I would like to see. Kubiak and that outside zone play action scheme with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson would be nasty work. Nasty work. Zay Flowers, and I think there's that. I think that's the call for me. That would make me happy. Not a college coach. I don't even want Monken. Monken can be there as the offensive coordinator. Don't care. Let him stop calling plays. Because how the hell do you not say Derrick Henry's going into the game? What are we doing? But yeah, 2025 Christmas. Santa, I've been a good boy this year. I've lost a lot of weight. I've stayed out of internet fights.
Do you really think Santa rewards weight loss?
Well, I'm just saying I've been a good boy.
Santa's famously fat.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. I've been a good boy. I've stayed off the liquor. Well, tonight I'm enjoying a nice beverages with my co-host here. Of course, it's the holidays, but I've stayed off the alcohol. I've mostly stayed out of internet beefs. I've really, I went to bed early. I brush my teeth every day. I've been a really good boy. All I need is John Harbaugh to lose his job, and I'm gonna be happy. So that's what it takes for me. He's comfortable. He's made a gajillion dollars off the Ravens. He's gonna be fine. Just get him out of the goddamn building. Because if I have to hear another Monday press conference or Tuesday press conference with him talking about how he doesn't understand why his best players weren't on the field, I may not be long for this world. Brutal, just absolutely insane. So that's it. Let's talk about the game. Final standings. I lost. I didn't even enter picks. I concede. I'm out by like 100 points. I'm done. But there is a battle raging between Jacob and Ryan specifically. Jacob, I believe you're 60 points down.
I'm 40 points down. Lucas is 46. And Lucas snuck into the sheet while we were podcasting and made his picks.
Smart. That's an engineer right there.
So we're still trying. I mean, our odds are not high. Ryan probably has us in the bag, but you never know. I'll read out Lucas's first. He took Shadur, Manon Guy, Debo, and Kelsey. I took Cam Ward, Tyrone Tracy, Troy Franklin, and Darren Waller. And Ryan would have to choke this quite badly in the last week to lose. But who are you choking him with?
Yeah, we're definitely choking with Sam Darnold, master choke artist at the end of the season. So Ken Gainwell, who has been awesome for so long. So obviously he's going to choke this week. Josh Downs, who I've been like on an island with, saying that I actually think he's like a fringe top 30 wide receiver this week. He's actually playing and he's earning targets like he always does. I don't know why we're not all excited about Josh Downs again. We should be, as long as Rivers starts. And then I'm going to go with Jake Tonjes at tight end, which is maybe a little risky. I had Taysom Hill written in there. I'm going back and forth, not knowing if Kittle's going to play or not. I'll probably leave Tonjes in there.
All right. I like it. Jacob, you gave yours already, yeah?
Gave mine, yeah.
All right, good. I was just checking our little notes here, looking at what Lucas Gilbert dropped in there. I think that's going to do it. A holiday season is a weird one for a lot of people, especially in the fantasy world. I think we're going to have more discussions about not having a Week 17 finals at this rate, because this Christmas slate is absolutely diabolical. This is an insane championship weekend. Thanks, NFL. We appreciate it. That's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us all year. I'll say the growth that the podcast has had this year was not on my bingo card. It was truly insane what the last couple of months have brought us. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys stay well. With a ton of championships. Again, leave all the comments about your heartbreaks. Just know that we are experiencing it too. Jacob, I want to wish you well. In your $2 million venture. I look forward to you giving me the address and a key to our new studio.
Oh, so we're all moving into a commune together.
I can't wait. Ryan's gonna move to Canada. It's gonna be fantastic. We'll all have.
We'll be in those cabinets right behind each door.
Yeah,
in Ryan's little
right.
Torture room.
I still think it was funny that we finally learned that isn't just a set that Ryan sets up that's an actual house because he opened the door and walked out of it last week. So,
I got made fun of on a different show for my setup today, which I thought I was past. Like, guys, come on, it's an actual room with like furniture and stuff, right? Wow. No, apparently now it's too gray. Like, I think it's because I'm wearing this sweatshirt, which I normally don't, but I was told that I'm just in grayscale and that I need to liven things up.
In fact.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it. Great show, great year. I can't wait to be back. We're gonna be talking results, obviously, next week, how we did, whatever, and then we'll be letting you guys know what the schedule is. We do like to take a little bit of time off. I think everybody needs a little bit of time to like relax and recharge a little bit through Dynasty, collect some thoughts. So we are taking a break. We do take a break every year for a couple of weeks. So we'll be doing that. We'll give you guys a little bit of the rundown on the schedule. But aside from that, please be safe this holidays. Travel safely. Enjoy all of the absolutely insane things that Uncle Rick is going to say at the dinner table on Christmas. Good luck with the football. Check in on your loved ones, even if you're not sure that they need it. Remember that clear eyes and full hearts can never lose, that your best days are always spent with us, tilting our brains off. Let's go, Jacob. 2 million. Let's bring it home. Till next time, everybody.
What?
Why are you shaking your head? You're welcome.